thank you for coming in and participating in this brief interview for your candidate interview. Why don't you go and tell us a little bit about yourself and like what neighborhood you lived in or live in and any clubs or groups that you participate in.
Sure. I'm Jim Troublefield. My wife Sherry and I have been full-time residents here in Del Webb for over 8 years. Like everyone else, we love living here. I have participated in a lot of the groups and clubs that are currently going on. I have hosted karaoke night, which is a fun thing for us to do. My wife and I have attended numerous events from the HOA social committee productions, as well as the drama club plays and our wonderful Sweetgrass singers. And we enjoy them all. We're patrons of them all. We even like to watch the Mardi Gras parade. We have not participated in the parade, but we have watched it and we love that as well. I really like the fact that we live here and there's always something to do here in Del Webb Sweetgrass.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jim. All right. Why don't you go ahead and why don't we dive into these questions?
Sure.
How about we start with what motivated you to run for the HOA board?
My main motivation to run is, well, I would like to preface my answer by saying I think the current HOA board has done a wonderful job in maintaining the community that we live in. But my main motivation for running is the fact that there are 3 empty seats. And I feel like I can effectively fill one of those seats. I know that with my experience, I can bring levity and new blood and new ideas to the board.
Thank you. Your next question. What experience do you have that you believe will benefit our community?
Well, I have experience in my management role back when I was working with negotiating contracts with vendors as well as employees and being an active listener to everyone that I come in contact with.
Wonderful. Your next question is, how familiar are you with the current bylaws, rules, and regulations of our HOA?
I am somewhat familiar. I can always learn more, but I do know Robert's Rules of Order. I know how meetings are run. I have sat in many meetings, and I do respect the ability to talk and to listen while others are speaking.
Nice, nice. Next question. How much time are you able to commit to your role as an HOA board member?
I have ample time to commit. If I am elected to the board, it will be one of my life priorities. As living here in Sweetgrass is a major thing for my wife and myself, and to keep it as well as it is going to require the time, and I have that time to commit.
Thank you. Next question. Have you served on an HOA board before? And if so, what was your experience?
I have not served on an HOA board. However, I have served and currently serving on 2 boards of clubs that I'm a member of. A special interest group and also the men's club. And I'm very active in both of those.
Thank you. Next question. How would you ensure that your actions as a board member are aligned with the overall needs of the community, rather than pursuing a specific personal agenda or goal, or the goal of a particular club or group?
I will always act in the best interest of what's good for Sweetgrass as a whole. I don't believe there's any room for personal agendas or personal needs of one particular club over the other. All requests should be considered without bias, but I can assure everyone that I will always act in the best interest of what's good for us all.
Thank you. Next question. How do you approach conflict resolution, especially when dealing with disagreements among residents or board members?
I believe that dealing with conflicts and having resolution is solved by active listening, exchanging our different points of view, them listening to me listening to them. And I find that 90% are resolved that way.
Next question is, what role do you see yourself playing on the board?
I think the best thing for me would be a role, something like the director at large. Being first coming into the board, I would not expect a higher position such as president or vice president or anything of that nature, but I do think I could see myself in a director at large position.
Next question. How would you handle a situation where a board decision you supported was unpopular with a significant portion of the community?
If a significant portion of the community disagreed with a position that I was in support of, I would always, and I always have, abided by the majority rule situation. I've always thought that. I put forth my thoughts, I listen to their thoughts, but the end result is if the majority wants something different, I would not be opposed to that.
Next question. What do you believe is the most important role of an HOA board?
Maintaining the wonderful atmosphere and safety that we all enjoy living here in Sweetgrass, while at the same time keeping an eye on our budget and our budgetary restraints.
Thank you. Next question. How do you prioritize the needs of the community when resources are limited?
We all have our wish list of things we would like to see. I know that a lot of my friends and neighbors would like to see brighter street lights. They want to see security lights around the building. They want shade, more shade and different things. And it's just a wish list, but we all have a budget that we have to adhere to. If we don't have funded funds and we have to more or less just prioritize and maybe put things on a list and address them as we can. It might take a year or two to get to a particular situation, but eventually it will get there. I believe that we have talked about security cameras for a long time, and it's my understanding it's actually going to come to fruition. They will be implemented, and it will be welcomed by most of the residents here, I believe.
Thank you. Next question is, what experience do you have with budgeting and financial management?
Again, reflecting back to my career, I did not do the hands-on financial forecasts for the coming year. However, my management team and myself reviewed the financial forecasts, and we accepted or rejected or struck out different parts that we thought was out of budget. And basically, I would do the same thing here at Del Webb.
Next question. How would you balance the need for maintenance and improvements with financial constraints of the community?
Maintenance is always a top priority. Things that break or things that need to be done, or grass that needs to be mowed, or fences that need to be mended, whatever the situation is, must be of utmost importance, because they have to do with the enhancements of our neighborhood that makes it more attractive for all of us. However, again, budgetary restraints always stick their thumb in your eye. You can't do everything all at once. Patience is required for all of us. We all want it done yesterday, including myself. I'm no different. But we all have to remember, we all have to keep our budget in mind.
All right, Jim, I'm going to put you on the spot now. You ready?
I'm ready.
What kind of takeaway would you want residents to remember from your interview? Like a final thought?
I'm an active member of this lake house. I think you can find me here probably 5 days a week. I'm at the lake house, mostly at the coffee bar, talking with friends and neighbors, meeting new people, and listening to their thoughts and ideas and expressing some of my own. My goal, if I were to be elected to the board, would be to build trust. That's the main thing for me. I want to be known as a person that's trustworthy, a person that is true to his word. I believe in transparency, but I also believe there's a time for confidentiality, and I can be counted on for both. And again, my wife and I have lived here full-time 8 years. We are happy residents, and I would truly wish for your vote and your support in this upcoming election. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jim. Thank you for taking some time, and we really appreciate you participating in this candidate interview. You have yourself a great rest of your day.
Thank you. My pleasure.